There it is. Today we're announcing the Tilt Boost.
Yeah, man.
Finally. How's it going, everybody?
What's up,
How's
everybody?
it look on here? I'm kind of, oh, this is weird, there's a lag. I'm viewing the comments on my laptop just because we don't have the prompter today, and there's a bit of lag, but it looks good in here, man. Yeah.
Running and gunning.
Yeah, I think I was saying to Shawn, this is, I think, the first stream we've done with just us together in person, so this will be fun.
Yeah.
But for no reason other than the Tilt Boost is here, finally.
It is here.
So that's what we're announcing today.
Yep.
And it's funny how you got it dialed there, because I at first, the always on thing was kind of, I guess, what inspired the initial idea of this pedal, I think. And for a second there, I forgot that even was, and then as soon as I turned it off, it's like, I was just using it to just kind of bring I don't know, it just gives you so much more of everything, just feel-wise, and I feel like you had it dialed like a little bit more to your taste with the drive there. And
well, actually, the drive is still off, but I've just had it pushing a little bit harder.
Alex says, whoa, cool head. Yeah, sorry, Alex. We decided we were going to borrow your head for today. We didn't tell you.
Hope that's okay.
Yep. Man, yeah.
Yeah, so right now I'm not actually adding, because there's some new things happening, but right now I'm just using it the way I would normally use it, which is just to push. So it's
a little bit edgier.
Yeah, it just gives it a little bit more push, a little bit more top end, especially when I dig in.
Dude.
Which would be kind of an always-on setting.
Yeah, and I feel like you're someone who likes to play with the volume knob a lot, right? And I feel like just frequency-wise, what this does, you can still have the kind of more push and still get a lot of what this offers in that regard as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. And right now I've got it so that it's pulling out, the tight switch is still exactly the same, so we're still pulling out lows.
Yeah. I'm going to look at the comments here because they're coming a little delayed. It is Modelo time. It is, in fact, Modelo time. Let's go. The TO, huge shout out to Jeroen. I'm really sorry if I pronounced it wrong, dude. So Jay from Aristides, let us take this for the stream tonight. Shawn's got the classic NJ, which sounds amazing, as always. And then there you go. Kyle has the link for the Tilt Boost. It is a real thing that exists that we are launching right now. That's really cool. Alex, this will be the most tasteful stuff ever played through my amp. That's funny. So yeah, as always, if anyone's hanging out, just we'll start it off with the like, share, subscribe thing. The more you do that, the more friends we have hanging out here, and obviously more friends is more fun. And we want to just share a bit about what we're doing. So yeah, I guess with the Tilt Boost, I guess I could ask you, because the Tilt is your pedal, but professionally, I guess what interactions kind of led to the decision to do this?
Well, yeah, when Dan and I came up with the Tilt Overdrive, the boost side, we put quite a bit of work into it. And what we were noticing right away is especially in Nashville, when we were beta testing, a lot of the Nashville cats would, they turn on the overdrive and they would really dig it, and then they'd hit the overdrive, which is what Dan and I really designed that boost to do. They would hit the overdrive with that, and they would really love it, and then they would shut off the overdrive and then shut off the boost, and then turn the boost right back on. So we, It
was funny watching all the reels that Dorian did too, because it's literally that was the reaction every time. It was like, whoa, nope, that's going back on.
Yeah, because it was they'd shut it off and they'd be like, oh, and they'd turn it back on.
The feel's gone.
That's better, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we, Dan and I, we both knew that at some point we would release, just that side of the pedal, but I didn't want it to just be the right side of the pedal. So we changed some things. With Dan's blessing, I asked to change some things. So
who is hiding in the back here?
Dan is hiding.
Dan is hiding in the back.
So the boost, normally it's 12 dB. Now it's 20 dB. So it's definitely got quite a bit more push if you want it. The Tilt EQ is exactly the same, and so is the tight switch. But for me, what I always want, and especially if you're boosting an amp, maybe even if you're boosting another pedal, because it's great for that. But when you're boosting an amp, you kind of get to a point where the saturation is where you want it, but if you hit the boost just a little too much, then the amp starts to, there's some anomalies that can happen because you're clobbering the front of the amp. So, I reached out to Dan and asked if there's a possibility we could add what we're calling a drive switch, and that's just adding just a little bit of clipping and push. So it just gives you kind of that more without needing to turn up more boost.
Right.
And even like
Right.
the way it's set right now. Breaking up, but if I just want more without turning up the boost, I could. But drive.
Like right away.
Yeah. Now I've got a little bit more clipping because it does add some clipping, but it's also just more push. So it's but if I back off.
I can't even talk when you're playing the thoughts. And you ever tried to like focus when you're sitting next to Shawn Tubbs playing the most amazing things ever?
Oh, come on.
But yeah, even like rolling off the volume, like all of the additives are still there.
Yes.
In terms of like the dynamic response to it, and you can just use that really to push the gain, which is kind of like how you would use an old tube amp, which I think was what conceptually went into a lot of the pedal as well.
Yeah, that was honestly the whole idea. But yeah, it's one of those pedals that I just, I'm a workflow guy, but at the same time, it doesn't matter what style player you are. I wanted this pedal to kind of work for everybody. So if you're a metal player and you need to clean up the low end and push a high gain channel, it'll absolutely do that.
Which is something that I've had the tilt, like I have the Tilt Overdrive on my board because for corporate gigs, I use the drive side all the time. For like the heavier gigs, like with higher lows or like any of that type of stuff, I still leave the boost on all the time for the high gain tones because it kind of does, I mean, we'll get into more of actually like listening to it, but it does a lot of what people would use like the MXR EQ for like a 7-string guitar to kind of just do a low pass thing. And then immediately a lot of the mud is gone and your attack is a lot more prominent too. So to be able to have something in a smaller factor that I can do that with and just leave on when I'm using the 120 rig is like, yeah, exactly. So we'll get into that, but yeah, it definitely, I think, opens up a lot of different, or opens up a lot of appeal to different players in that regard because it is very multifunctional for the size of what it does,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How much? Oh, did Derek tell us that?
169.
169.
Yep.
There you go. 169 USD. That's actually a lot cheaper than I expected. So I'm just going to scroll through the comments here. And sorry guys, as I mentioned, I don't have the prompter today, so we're just scrolling through on our laptop here, so it might take a few minutes to reply to stuff. Yeah, TO. What do we got here? Bought a G20 to tilt. Nice, Jorge. That's awesome. Thanks a lot for the support, man. 20 dB is a healthy amount. Yeah. Did you just wanted to be able to push the amp like a minute harder?
I mean, that's the thing. It is really healthy, and to be honest with you, I can't imagine somebody like diming this thing into. But, but I wanted the option to be there, just in case. Once again, it's just kind of the more thing. But yeah, 20 dB is very healthy.
Totally. Yeah. I just saw someone comment that there's a bit of internet lag. We are using the Wi-Fi in our Airbnb and don't have our fiber connection, so it may be a little laggy. Bear with us if that's the case. Apparently the audio is coming through. That's all that matters. So we're good. Finally get to see us at NAMM Friday. Yeah, come out. We're at booth 5649? 41.
I want to say 41.
It's on the thing.
Is that on the thingy?
No, Dorian, this isn't the one with the thingy on it.
Oh, that doesn't have the thingy on the thingy.
It's okay. I think it's 5641.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come hang out. Yeah, we're going to have this, and we will have some other treats, too, that people have not seen.
Yeah, we're really close to, I guess it would be D9, is like when you're looking at all the...
Yeah, Hall D, basically right by the concessions.
Yep.
And stuff like that. Yeah. Also with RSTDs, who, once again, Yaron was nice enough to send this guitar. Daniel, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Jason, good to see you, too, man. Everyone's here. That's awesome. All right. So yeah, I guess we were just talking a little bit about the drive switch, but it's kind of based on like one of your favorite presets from the full size pedal, I guess.
Yeah, well that was something Mr. Trudeau and we did have to go through because I didn't want it to be overdrive necessarily, but I did want clipping, and it is based on what would be considered like a static setting off of the Tilt Overdrive, but really Dan didn't do that. He always does what he's going to do.
Totally.
And, I kind of explain it to him, and then, so it is kind of based on that style of clipping, but it's very, very mild clipping. Just, and it's really nice, especially, for even a solo pass, if you're into a channel gain amp and you just want a little bit of saturation, once again, without push, you can just hit that drive switch, and it gives it that little extra bit of just that kind of complex, like harmonic saturation.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the way it clips makes it feel like you're really pushing the front end. And with something like a D20 where you can actually do that with the gain on the amp too, you can get a whole bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
And you do like to keep it pulled?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I do like the way this breaks up when the switch is pulled. But it's really more because I mean, that sounds beautiful, but you know, having the gain pulled, it's not for me so much gain. I like the complexity. I like it sounds more spread out. It's a little more active up there, right?
Yeah. It's funny how different it sounds on like a really clean sound, you know?
Yeah, because I mean,
the second channel maybe I can get a little more into that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much.
The reverb. Oh geez, I can't see from this angle.
I know.
I got the verb on there. Good.
Is it on in the back? There we go.
So yeah, that's not even with the clip switch on. You can still push it pretty hard.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, with the
Yeah.
I got the gate on though, I think. Eh?
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Man, I love the gate, but then when I turn it off, it's like, you can do stuff like that. You know?
Yeah.
So once you push the drive switch a little bit more, same setting here. And it's not like it's a ton.
No.
But it's enough that when I...
Clean up.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah. That's really cool. And like when you roll it, I don't know how to quite say it. I'm thinking it's like it rolls back into the same space.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Like with the drive switch on, I can still back it off and get it like fairly close to where it would be without the drive switch, and it just gives you more of when you do want to push.
Yeah. Well, you know what it reminds me of is those really great old. Now it's not this at all, but the way it cleans up reminds me of like an old, like really great old germanium fuzz, like when Jimmy would back off on a fuzz tone, and it's still really glassy.
Right.
This isn't a fuzz, but the way it backs off with the drive switch on, you get that same clarity when you back off. The glassiness is still there. The feel is still there.
Yeah. That's interesting, eh?
Yeah.
And we did it without the germanium thing. I don't even know what that means technically. You guys, Dan and Shawn know more than me. They always talk about it. I'm like, great, dude. That sounds good. But I know there is like specific things that physically that is doing that is hard to replicate.
Yeah, it's kind of a feel thing, but you know, and it's not, you know, it's just something that. Right. The glass is still there, you know?
Yes, the glass is still there. Should be a good tagline for this pedal. Why didn't we use that? Yeah, we used play through glass, and then the glass is still there as the continuation.
Yep.
But it's a pedal and not an amp, so it's kind of contradictory. But
yep. Well, yeah, there's that, and there's no tubes in there. Huh.
Yeah, but it very much responds like there are, and I think that was what was really cool about diving into something like the Tilt Overdrive that we hadn't done before, because like although you can use something like a G2 as a boost, they're still primarily based on the channels. Right. And that's kind of a different approach entirely.
Yep.
Whereas like I find running the tilt boost like into the G2, it's almost like hitting an amp channel the same way, right?
Yeah.
So, a couple questions here. Let's take a look. Hey, Chris from Peg City Pickups is here. Hope NAMM's awesome. Dude, we've got to get you down here sometime. People got to hear more of your pickups. Smash like button, nice. How would you guys say this works to replace, say, a tube screamer or a clone that is used as a bit of a more pedal?
Well, as far as the frequency range, the dynamic range is way broader. So you could do what the clone does.
Right.
And then a bunch of other stuff the clone won't do. Same thing with the tube screamer.
Right.
Yeah, they're you know, not, and I would never slag on a clone or a tube screamer, but the reason I don't have a clone or a tube screamer.
They do what they do.
They do what they do. And I'm not saying that's bad, but I have a tilt.
It does both.
I can do all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think with that in mind, it was made to have that flexibility. Mm-hmm. And I think where like the clones and the tube screamers are like older designs that have just stuck true, I think they've really stayed within the realm of what they excel at, right?
And they're perfect for that. But this is really meant to cover a way broader spectrum of tones.
Rex says, he says, is this anything like a Greer Lightspeed? I mean, obviously, it's not based on anything, but I'm not as familiar with what the Lightspeed does. I know it's just a drive.
Yeah, it's nothing like a
Greer.
There's no clipping unless you turn on the drive switch, and that's a static setting. So yeah, not at all like that. I can see how it could be perceived as sounding a bit like that. Like I know I could probably dial this to sound like my Lightspeed.
Right.
I know I could get it really close.
And that's what you're saying is like it has the flexibility to do that, but by default it's not intended to do
not at all
exactly that.
Not that circuit. It doesn't even have anything remotely close to that topography.
And that's what I've always kind of tried to relay to people about even the boost side of that, because like when you say boost immediately they assume it's being used as like a drive boost or like a TS or something, and it's like, well, not really, because like the Tilt EQ just allows you to pinpoint specific things that you want more or less of.
Yep.
So you can just use it as a boost in terms of just like enhancing or getting rid of things that you don't want, right?
Well, like what I can't do on my, and I love my Lightspeed. That's on my.
Oh, those are cool.
I love that thing. But there's certain things I can't do with it. There's certain things that'll happen where, okay, now it's way too much low end. So that's where I get stuck. It's like, okay, well, I can either change the tone stack of the pedal and that will fix it, but now the sound is different, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But I'm one of those guys that's like, no, it's just too much low end. I just want to fix that, you know, and that's kind of where, you know, that's a lot of the basis that comes from the Tilt EQ and that tight switch.
And that's something that a session player or like someone who uses backline amps would probably run into often when you're using an old tube amp that you're just cranking and it's muffling and like, exactly.
Yeah, it's like the fixer of all sinful amps.
Fixer of sinful amps.
Yeah,
that's
like,
awesome.
yeah, because I mean, for me, if I'm on a stage and the amp is just sounding lifeless, or maybe it's too bright, or whatever it is, I know I can sort it out pretty easily.
You can
with
sculpt
that.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very precision-like.
Yep.
Flux says, Shawn, would you call the distortion switch on the Tilt Boost the sweet spot of your Tilt Overdrive component, basically?
I would call it like it would be the lowest like gain setting. It would be if I was just using.
It's obviously not as hot as the overdrive. Like,
no,
it doesn't have an overdrive side. It is the boost side, but the switch does allow you to get a little bit more in the turf of that.
Yes, like the way I have it set right now, if I were to go ahead and do the drive switch on, that would end up being about at the start point of where I would start with my tilts.
Right.
Like when I would say, hey, here's where I start. That would be pretty close. So without the drive switch.
Yeah.
And then with the drive switch.
Yeah, just a bit more saturation.
Yeah, just gives it that extra little push and clipping.
Does that too.
Oh yeah.
And that's pretty much everything at Unity and the tilt. I have the tight switch in the middle with the Tilt EQ just a little bit back.
Yeah. And then you know where you're set right now. That's a pretty good amount. Like if you shut it off, that's a pretty good amount of push. Like go ahead and shut it off and play. And go ahead.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Man, it's like even on the neck pickup. Like the attack is just so there, man, and it cleans up like the chubbiness that some like I love a telly, but comparatively to an HSS, it is a bit more chubby.
Yep.
And that allows you to kind of hollow that out and still get the attack that you might want from that without losing all your other range, you know?
Yep,
so,
absolutely.
100%.
Yep.
What did I miss? Thank you, Shawn. Great explanation. No problem. It's the make the telly go brrr switch. Nice. That's great. Yeah. Alex, you're getting a lot of love on your amp, dude. That's nice. Everyone's like, oh man, that red 120 looks sick.
It is cool looking.
This is a very, I don't know if you guys can see the cab. Yeah, the purple cab. We're like, what do we got today? It's funny, I was saying to Shawn before, it's like being at NAMM and not having access to all the gear that we brought, you wouldn't think is a problem, but everything's at the booth. So we're going around the house like, all right, what do we got?
Yeah.
Got the purple cab, got the 120. Great. We're good to go. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, also, our marketing guy, Derek, is on there reminding everyone. But again, smash that like button. Give it a share. We want to get more friends coming in to hang out. I also guess we didn't ask what everyone's drinking tonight.
Yeah.
As you've noticed, it is Modelo time. Sean's drinking the good stuff.
Yeah,
Sean's got
drinking
some bourbon.
But I if I had to choose between the two Modelo's, a dark,
Yeah.
that's a really good beer.
Recently tried them and it's actually quite good. Yeah. I've been into like I tried like a red Mexican lager the other day that was really, really good.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of like, yeah, it was interesting because like I like how easy Mexican beers are to drink because I like beers that are light because I can drink more of them. Yeah. But yeah, it was like a nice mix of like, yeah, like a red and like kind of a more cerveza type taste. What do we got here? Oh, a whole bunch of comments came in. This is one on me. Sounding great. Tilt Boost. Hey, Steven, what's up, dude? So our buddy Steven Arundel's watching, and I'm not going to give away too much, but we just worked on some fun stuff with Steve that we're going to be revealing fairly soon as well. Lots of fun stuff.
Sweet.
But yeah, Steve is the man. Lug Tread Lagered Ale, the only good craft beer. Nice. Soul with a slice of lime. That's pretty good. Soul's up there.
Yep.
Yeah. Straight bourbon tonight, Buffalo Trace. Chris is in your
right on.
Chris from Peg
Must
City.
be, I was gonna say, you must be around.
You guys are pals tonight.
Yep.
Got a G4. Awesome. Modelo's. My band's house beer. Nice. Jamaican rum. Tasty water. You need that. That is crucial.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay hydrated out there. So, yeah, I guess, like, as I kind of said before, like, the EQ thing or, like, using the MXR EQ, like, to clean up a high gain tone, like, is something that people have definitely been doing for a while.
Yeah.
What specifically about, like, because I kind of just learned this from you guys, like, Tilt EQ specifically does refer to something slightly different, and I know we've kind of established that that refers mostly to the low-end frequencies that we're looking to get rid of. Like, how would like a Tilt EQ vary from just using, like, an EQ pedal?
Yeah, well, especially for, even if you're using a parametric EQ or a graphic EQ, a Tilt EQ basically allows you to quickly, if you think of like a teeter-totter, you can basically change the balance between high end and low end really quickly. Whereas on with a parametric, you would have to change bell curves. There's things you would have to do to make it do that, which is kind of what you're wanting to do. With a graphic EQ, you would have to do the same thing. And for me, the whole idea of a Tilt EQ was workflow. Now, with a Tilt style EQ, you're not necessarily, when you're doing this, you're not necessarily going to bring this out, but the perceived mids will happen when you cut the lows.
Right.
And that's something I've learned that from engineers.
Right. It's almost like a studio trick.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, you're going to bring out the perceived mids. So I wasn't so concerned with this stuff in the mids. I just wanted to quickly do this. And it is workflow. Instead of doing all that dialing to arrive someplace, you can just literally turn the knob to the left to cut lows and add highs, or turn the knob the other way and do just the opposite.
Right.
And just find the sweet spot. And then once you've found a sweet spot, in the highs especially, if the lows are maybe still a little too much, then the tight switch fixes it without, messing with your tone stack. But yeah, that's the whole idea behind like a Tilt style EQ. I've always dug those.
It's just like a very accessible way to achieve that, especially in like a pedal format, as opposed to like pinpointing what frequency specifically. It's just like more this way, more this way.
Yeah.
And that's specifically what Tilt refers to.
Absolutely, yeah. Because a lot of graphic EQs are awesome, but you don't know, like, well, what shape is that particular, like, 2K? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here?
Yeah.
Things like that. At least for me, kind of, I don't want to say it drives me nuts, but I just like the simplicity of, Tilt EQ, just, dial it in and go,
Yeah, absolutely. Make it a lot easier. Cool, man. Yeah. Try some clean tones here. I messed around too much with how much drive you can get out of this thing myself. But generally, as I was saying, I kind of just do like pretty much at unity, just with a little bit of cut there. Again, as soon as it's gone, right? Yeah. Like on its own, it sounds very clean, but then much of like my attack is gone, how much of the clarity is gone there. Just crank the boost up to noon here.
Yep.
Do you know, Dan, maybe you can answer. Oh, he went to get a drink. When it's at noon, do you know how much boost it would be giving, like at the noon setting?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll ask Dan when he's back.
Anything noon and up is going to be about all you want to like.
Really,
you can
reasonably
hit it obviously harder than that, but really, yeah, around noon that's a really good amount of punch, you know, into the amp.
Yeah, even just for that type of tone, the gear.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, and then if you want to add the drive switch to that. So now it's just a little more saturated.
It's like,
Yeah, and then if you want to tighten that up,
yeah.
you know, you can throw the
On the 120, which is like clean,
super clean.
It doesn't break up, right?
So like we're clobbering it, and it sounds cool.
I love that word choice. but that's great because, like, you know, you might be using an amp that is stiffer that you want to sound more broken up, and then that becomes another use for that, right?
Yeah.
Like with a channel that's just not going to break up, you can at least emulate what that is doing.
Yeah.
So if I was to do that into like the same kind of sound into channel 2 here.
Yep. If you shut it off.
Let's get rid of that verb. Oh, I hit the gate there. Can't see. There we are. Like, and then as soon as it's just flat. Thing, or like if you wanted more of that broken Marshall sound, like, but it's so tight, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This sounds awesome, man.
Yeah, to me that sounds like, you know, like a pushed like vintage amp is what that sounds
Yeah, it's like a smoother JCM. Like, cause it has like, you know what I mean? Just like the hairy mid-range, you know? Like, and I am using a Tully, obviously, with the bridge pickup. I don't even know what pickups are in these. I think there's some sort of bare knuckles they were saying.
Yeah, it's like some sort of prototype.
They sound real good.
Yeah, whatever they are, they're great.
They sound awesome. Yeah. But yeah, it just has that like, I don't want to say hissy because that's a bad word, but there's like, that's a bad guitar word.
Hissy, yeah.
Yeah. But it has this certain like graininess in the mid-range that I feel like a lot of more modern amps don't anymore.
Yeah.
That just has this kind of cut to it. Even if it's not super high gain, it just has this mid-range that really cuts.
I know, it's hard to like articulate what that is. I know.
You know what I mean? Like you can hear it and you know it's like, oh, that's a JCM, 100%. Like it has that.
That's vintage.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
What do we got here? Coca-Cola, nice. It's funny that I could drink beers now, but if I drank a Coke, I would be up all night because sugar.
And I can't. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm old now.
Yep.
Clean with no break. Isn't that what Roombas do? Yes, Poo Ninja. Thank you.
Nice.
He has arrived.
Yep.
Hello. The Poo Ninja's here.
Yep.
If you want to break up, you could switch to 10 watt mode on the 120. You can, but it's still not really voiced in a way that it really breaks out. Chad's shaking his head. Our buddy Chad Neville's here too. Chad is one of our good pals, and he made us breakfast for the past 2 days, and it's very nice of him to do that for us. But Chad is also shaking his head, saying no. And it's funny because, like, I think there's also a misconception that 100 watts is 10 times louder than 10 watts.
Right.
And it's not.
Yeah.
It has. I mean, it's definitely a lot louder, but it breaks up at a different point. But even then, with the generators, like, that's the difference between like a D20 and this is like, you know, when you put it on 10 watts, I doubt you could get the clean channel on this to break up more than the D20 on 20 watt mode.
Yeah.
Just because of the way they're voiced. And the generator, I think, was like that on purpose. It's kind of like the channel on the clean channel on the G22 where you have the drive channels. Like Dan's philosophy with that was different. It's like you have all these channels, they can exist in their own space and do their own thing to fill up the gamut of your tones.
Yeah.
Whereas something like a D20 is made in a way that like it just is more responsive to backing off so that you can use, you know, like if you go into a gig and you need an amp that will pretty much be able to cover anything with a pedal board, then that's it.
Yep.
And especially with something like, you know, the Tilt Boost, you can get it to sound more like authentically like it's breaking up.
Yeah, and I understand the 10-watt breakup thing because it will be less efficient, but it's a completely different type of overdrive or breakup. I mean, I do understand, but it would be different. You know?
Alex, okay, let's see what Shawn thinks of this. Alex says the preamp means more to the tone than the power section does. I think that depends on the amplifier.
Depends on the amp.
And I know Alex and I have talked about that because Derek really likes to push the master on this.
Yep.
Or sorry, Derek really likes to push the preamp on this.
Yeah.
I really like to push the master on it. And I guess it just
You mean the
depends.
channel masters or the master output?
Wait, so no, sorry. Derek always sets the master volume to a certain level and then goes within that. Okay. And I like to push the channels.
Yeah, I like to push the channel masters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or is it the opposite? I forget what he does. But we were having this conversation, and maybe he's the same as you, but Alex was saying I think he enjoyed pushing I don't know what it was. Someone said they liked pushing the power section more, and they thought that was more effective.
Was that you, Dorian?
That was Dorian. It was you? Okay. Yeah. What do you think? When you're ripping it, like what's going to make more of a difference in that scenario?
It depends on the amp.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one of those guys when it comes to amplifiers, like every control is a tone control.
Right.
Depending on how you're listening to it.
Every control is a tone control.
Yeah. So for me on the 120s, I really like pushing the channel masters.
Right.
Something just kind of wakes up.
Yeah.
And actually, I did talk to Dan. There's obviously the way those are going to hit the phase inverters before the power amp and all that also has an effect.
Right.
So it's really kind of to each his own. Power amp breakup, you know, for a 100-watt amp, if you hear the power amp breakup, you might be losing your hearing.
Yes.
And actually, what's breaking up is your eardrums. But at the same time, you know, there are amplifiers like, you know, the old train wrecks, old AC30s, you know, like that power section is so much. I mean, the top boost has a sound, but if you didn't have that EL84 back end, the way it's designed and
Totally. Yeah.
the topography of that circuit, you wouldn't get the sound. And I you know, I'm not going to argue. It's like, of course, the preamp is going to have more effect overall than a power section. I get that, but at the same time, it really just kind of depends on the amp. You know, there's certain
the way
amps.
the power section is going to break up.
Yeah, because there's certain amps I realize, well, this amp wakes up with the volume at 7, so that's where it's going to stay. I'm going to figure it out. So to me, now the volume is my tone control, and then I reach into the tone stack to make very minor tweaks on where I arrived with the volume.
Yeah.
So
Kyle says on the 120, you need to get the channel levels to around 2 o'clock, and then you control the overall output with the master. Yeah, I think
that's about where
that's
I have
kind of
it.
what we're all talking about.
Yep.
Sweet. What else do we got here? They can't. Yeah, dude, I can't get over that. Like it's like when Derek said he tried the 120 for the first time. It's like, oh, you fixed what I didn't like about the rectifier. It's like this kind of fixes what I don't like about JCMs.
Yeah.
Dorian's like, what are you talking about? Those are the best amp ever. He's like, shut up. So this is without the tilt boost. Like if you want to do like, you know, the single coil thing, like. Man, I love how these brass saddles sound.
They feel weird.
Not used to how it feels yet.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah.
And then you can still, if that's a little too saturated, you can turn the drive switch off.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah. And that's the thing is like do that. Go back to like my normal kind of setting here that I was doing.
Yeah. Go back to center.
Yeah. And then just push a little more out of that.
Yeah.
Right. And now it's like again though, like the attack's there, the mids are there, like it's cuts, but it's not like even when I push the drive, it like I still feels the exact same. It's yeah. Super clear, super crisp. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, you kind of talked about this, but the main concept behind this was like, you know, just workflow in terms of being able to like have an always on pedal on your board that's not taking up as much space, that you know that with like just a couple little tweaks, you generally will be able to shape, you know, what you want out of the amp. So I guess another part of the concept with this was like, it is more of like a workflow pedal or like an efficiency pedal too, aside from like a tone thing, because it just allows you to save so much time not having to fight those things in ways that don't make sense.
Yep.
Yeah. Is that, I guess, safe to say, like that was part of the intent as well? Yeah,
absolutely. You know, just once again, to quickly dial things in without being forced to kind of overthink what I'm doing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. So like, I guess it just depends on the scenario. I just want to hear you play more. But I was gonna say, like, what would kind of just be like if you had to dial kind of like a set it and forget it setting on the pedal that you could use for most sounds that you like, what would you do? Like, how would you kind of set it? I'm gonna actually visually do it. With
as an always on. Like that sounds pretty good. I'd like to have maybe just a little bit more presence. I don't want it to get pushed as hard.
So people can see what sounds.
So like without it.
Something like that. Put the right spot there, right?
And then with it.
Oh, dude.
Maybe just a little bit less push. You know, if it was just going to be always on.
Gotta learn how to do the harp harmonic thing.
Oh, I can't really do it either.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
You didn't? Was that you weren't doing like the 12th fret thing there though, right?
Yeah, that would be like the harp thing, right? That's more harp. All I did was the, you know.
Get in okay. I see. You're literally just using the pick to do that.
Yeah.
I gotcha. I'm not just like tapping it.
Yep. Yep.
That's what I would always do. Just.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can actually. Yeah.
Yep.
I just don't have the proper form to do it.
Yeah.
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 It's really cool.
But yeah, that would be like my always on. You know.
Sweet.
Especially like the Landau in me, you know. That. It's like not quite. If I want the low end to come back, because I'm cutting lows.
You just notice it when it's not there, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it sounds bigger. Like when I'm playing by myself, I like all that low end. But I know that's going to have to go away the second I start recording.
So a couple questions that are kind of related. It is, for anyone who's asking what the size of the pedal, it is a bit smaller than the G Series pedal.
Yep.
It's basically as small as we could make it while still having top mounted jacks, because that's obviously something that was quite important.
Yeah, I was going to see if we had a G Series we could set right next to it.
Oh, just like another one, yeah.
But yeah, it's shorter than a G Series.
Derek's going to go take a look and see if we got one. You can take a look. But it is, smaller than a G Series. Not as small as like a mini.
No.
But yeah. And then George, hey George, how's it going? George just asked where we have it on the board, where you would put this on a board in your setting.
I prefer to have it at the very front.
I do as well.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely put it on the back end of a board, but it's just kind of to each his own. Like for me, I don't like EQing reverbs and delays, so I always want it at the front. And if I'm going to drive other pedals, it just makes more sense to have it at the front.
To kind of have your input signal shaped the way that you want.
Yep.
Going in. Yeah, I definitely find that that's where it would make the biggest. Like it would seem weird to me to run it or not weird. Like people can do whatever works for them.
Absolutely.
But I feel like running it after an overdrive in my scenario would be a little bit contradictory to what you're trying to achieve with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, a reason for doing that would be that you want to sculpt everything without adding gain and without adding saturation. Then you want to put it on the back end of all of your overdrives, but before all of your reverbs, delays.
Just to make it fit within that space.
Yeah. So that's, to each his own for sure.
Nice. Alex says the top end opens up on that thing like crazy. It kind of reminds me of a Pultec EQ adjusting both the boost and knobs. Yeah.
Good ears, because that's one of my very, very favorite EQs is a Pultec.
Oh, there you go, Alex.
Yep.
Yeah. He kind of knows what he's talking about, Stoby, that guy.
Alex does know what he's talking about.
He does, yeah.
He's got good ears, man.
Wish you were here, Alex. Oh, there we have a G Series pedal.
Oh, yeah,
This is a limited edition color that we don't do anymore, but for size reference, you can see it. Actually, I think Music Store Live has dibs on that color. Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
So for... Oh,
Oopsie.
So... Oh, we're just delayed. It tripped me out.
I was gonna say, didn't we just do
we
that?
have the delay on the computer. I'm using the prompter. I looked. It's like, it's not there. Yeah. I'm looking at it. It's right there. What's going on?
But the reason I didn't do it as a mini pedal, I'm not a big fan of like mini pedals, mainly because you step on them and they'll tip over, even if you're using like really, really great like 3M dual lock tape. So for me, I like that size. It's maybe a little bit bigger than like an MXR, like this little MXR reverb.
Right.
But not much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. And it's kind of like the brushed. I forget exactly what we called the paint, but it's more of like a matte finish on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I really dig it.
Yeah.
I mean, interesting to see what people think on what they think of that paint.
What do you guys think? I love it. I personally think that both on the Tilt Overdrive and like having kind of like the matte overlay on the Tilt stuff, like I'm a big fan of that for sure. I think it looks real sleek. Yeah, what do you guys think? How do you think it looks? Black and gold are also my high school colors, so maybe that's why I'm partial to it.
Yep.
I like it. But
it's like it's a Trans Am, man.
Totally.
Come on.
I was gonna say, oh yeah. So someone asked, like, obviously this is based on the boost side of the Tilt Overdrive. Someone asked how you would use it in conjunction with the Tilt Overdrive, and that made me think of a couple potential uses for that, because obviously the drive switch is going to respond differently going into the drive side of the Tilt Overdrive.
Yeah, because hitting the Tilt Overdrive with the Tilt Boost really isn't going to be much different, other than you've got quite a bit more dB.
Well, you have more boost level and you have the drive switch.
But where things would be different would be when you add the drive switch. So that's the tilt.
The drive side of the tilt, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, the drive side. Add just a little bit of lows as I throw.
Dude McGuire says it looks super classy and that he doesn't like to look at the G series pedals as much as this. So that's great. Okay. I will say I agree, but I know the purpose that the G series pedals serve, because they're the amp channels, and that's why they're that color. So
yep.
Yeah.
So like in this case, if I just hit it with the Tilt Boost, a little bit more gain. A little bit more gain. It's cutting some lows because I have the tight switch engaged.
Slender. Sorry, he's correcting me. He says the colorful pedals. He didn't say the G series. I assumed he was referring to the G series pedals because they're very colorful, and I voiced my own opinion and said it was his. So sorry, dude McIver. I'll call myself out on that one. I misinterpreted that. Sorry, dude.
But now I can add the drive, right? So I just added the drive. That sounds great.
That sounds awesome. It's not like really it is driving it harder, but there's not like an audible large amount more of gain.
No.
It's just the way it fills out the space. And I think the Tilt has made me more of a fan of like stacking gain stages together, and like even outside of using that pedal, just conceptually, like the idea behind that, like kind of getting your high gain sound from multiple stages that are filling out different spaces that you might not get from just using like a single high gain channel.
Yeah, because essentially that's like, 3. So start point, add the boost, and then add the drive.
Yeah, it's like just a little bit more, but it makes a huge difference when you hear it without it.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of saturation that it brings into it without like a massive amount of, once again, anomalies that can become present. If there was more than that, I think it would become problematic. But, Dan and I worked pretty hard on that to make sure that.
Well, and you guys both have the ear and the technical knowledge to know that. So, yeah, man, that's really cool.
Yeah, so that's where it would differ from just the boost side of the Tilt itself, is that drive switch is, especially for solos, it's just
totally, and that works really nicely into something like the Tilt Overdrive that is very amp-like.
Yeah, and it'd be the same thing into like the G2. Point with the G2, add the Tilt.
There's the extra 5% that makes it, right? Like
without pushing it way harder with more boost, I can just add a little bit of clipping and I'm there. You know?
100%.
Yep.
That's killer.
So it will not argue with pedals after it. I will say, like in the demo, my demo will come out tomorrow, and my approach was, Dan and I designed it so obviously the boost would hit the Tilt Overdrive and sound great, and all other distortion and overdrive pedals. So in my case, what I ended up doing was I'm going to take a amp, I'm going to dial that amp almost clean,
right.
And I can't get, the only pedal I can use to get all the tones from a 12-string chimey to a solo tone has to be the Tilt Boost.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing. It's like, okay, I know it'll work great hitting overdrives and things, down the chain on a pedal board, but how does it sound just one amp,
that's it.
and guitars?
Yeah. And that, as it was like, just going into the clean channel on the 120 like that, it's like you definitely could use that for that type of tone. Like, and because it backs off so nicely and kind of like backs into the same range with the drives cranked more, you could just set it, relatively hot and then just use your guitar to control that, and you would have pretty much all the range you would need.
Yep.
Which is something I need to get better at doing, is using my volume knob for that.
Yeah, I've just recently, probably in the last 3 or 4 years, started thinking that way.
Right.
For me, everything always had to be dimed, the tone control, all that stuff.
Right.
But, yeah.
I never touched my tone control.
Oh,
I definitely should.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does anyone, do you, you were just laughing. Derek starts laughing. So yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't use the tone control.
Oh, no.
Chad's laughing too.
Oh, no.
Chad's like, I play death metal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't order those anymore.
Yeah.
That's it.
Awesome. And yeah, also anyone watching, guys, if you have anything you'd like to hear from the Tilt or like in general, like, please feel free to comment and let us know what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just going to keep pestering Shawn with questions.
And there will be,
so I can learn how to actually use this pedal properly.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
It's very easy to use.
Yeah, I always tell people, especially people that reach out to me like, hey, can you give me points on dialing in tone? And I every time I talk to, and these guys with good ears, but what I realize is they're dialing with their eyes.
Yes.
They're not just listening.
Which is a guitarist trait.
It's an absolute guitarist trait.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can hear it, and if you can hear it, then you can fix it.
Yeah. That's
and,
exactly
and
it.
you don't fix it by how it looks, you fix it by how it sounds.
As soon as you're able to recognize what it is, then you're on track.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yep.
All the colors for all the preferences, just give me my choice of black. Nice. Yeah, well, hey, it is black, so there you go. Black and gold.
Yep.
Can you guys show me how you might use it into, say, an amp that's on the edge of breakup as a solo type boost? With the D20, maybe?
Yeah, because the D20, see how quick we can make this go. So, do you mean edge of breakup like here? Or more?
It says edge of breakup, but...
Because I would consider that...
I would say that's edgy, for
like
sure.
Like edge of breakup. So from there, hang on a second. I should...
Also, Flux has asked a couple times, and we'll definitely get to it, how we would use it to boost a high gain amp. And we will definitely get into that.
So, so in this case, I mean, that to me is what I would consider like, edge of breakup. Like it's breaking saturated, right?
Yeah.
So if I want solo, then I would probably run. So I'm going to turn the boost up to about just below. We'll start at just below noon with the drive switch on.
I just smile every time because as soon as it's there, it's right there.
I mean, that's a solo tone.
It's funny because in the past I've generally been a fan of like darker lead tones, and I'm realizing that it's just like there's I don't know, there might just be too much in there, and this is like although this is kind of like doing the opposite of that and kind of hollowing out the low end, like it just gives you enough in that kind of natural range that like I don't necessarily, maybe if I just rolled the gain back and didn't quite push it as hard, I'd have a lot more clarity, but like not harshness.
Right.
Even though it's cutting your low end, it's sweet.
Yeah,
if
and
that makes sense.
And we can make it so it cuts less. So I can go ahead and put the tight switch the other way. It'll sound fatter. So that's way fatter. The single notes are fatter.
Like the attack, right? Like the low end attack. It's like it's thunkier.
Yep. but it still feels really good, you know.
Totally, man.
But to me, it's like it's not overly compressed or saturated. It has like
No, it's not, and I think that's maybe what I was trying to achieve by dialing it that way, and I'm realizing that it's just that like maybe there's just too much in that space, and then you hear more of that with something like this, just because it's
Yep. So so hopefully that answers your question. I think it works swimmingly.
Nice. Chad, who's right here, thanks for commenting, Chad, says he's been using the boost side of the Tilt D into the purple channel for death metal since it came out.
Oh, nice.
Tilt EQ is an easy mode for people that fight various amps. Nice. That was the intent.
That's totally the intent.
Yep,
Just
absolutely,
dial your thing in quick. You know?
Do you ever run... Actually, I've got this question a couple times, and I think in my brain I know what the answer would be, but would you ever run a boost in the loop of an amp?
Yeah. The only reason you would really do that is you want to change the overall characteristic of the amp, or you just want to raise the overall level of the amp. And there's plenty of guys that do that. And that's one of the things I've never done with this because I just don't think that way.
Right.
But I know a lot of guys use
I feel like
boosts.
we kind of, in my mind, it's like I would do that in the front because that's going to hit
Right.
the preamp more and I want my effects to sound how they sound.
Yeah.
But I guess that kind of comes down to like running a gate in the loop too. Like it just hits the preamp differently because of where it lies in your signal path.
Well, and also the return to the power amp. You know, maybe you want that type of EQ to be post your preamp, but you want that tweak to hit the input of the power amp, which is what the return would do in the effects loop.
Right.
And yeah, if you want to just boost, or in this case, you know, a lot of guys will do what's called like under boost, which sounds so weird. That doesn't make any sense.
It's an
Under boost.
oxymoron.
But you can, and this pedal will do it. You can actually cut signal. You can have it below unity gain, and then you can sculpt. There's a lot of guys that do it, and they'll sculpt in a tone with it slightly underdriven.
It's a very accessible tool for like a lot of applications for sure.
But yeah, there's nothing wrong. Yeah, in the effects loop, absolutely. You know, it just depends on your perspective and what you're trying to achieve.
And I think, yeah, definitely too, like where we had primarily made, and I definitely think that you were a big part of this too, because you brought in a lot of knowledge to Revv that we didn't have just in terms of like what session players are doing in approach wise. And I feel like a product that is like, it's, you know, it's a boost, it can be used as a drive, but it's a lot more utility. And I think that in a sense did open up an audience that Revv hadn't really marketed to before, I would say. Like, you know, we did the high gain stuff. The D20 was the first step into anything like that wasn't quite as high gain. And then as far as the pedals go, yeah, like the G8, I guess, was the first true like utility pedal. But this is something that I think is still like a drive or boost that people would use for that is just a lot more multifunctional than our other products had been.
Yeah, it just covers a ton of bases.
Yeah,
for sure.
And yeah, not just in terms of like being used as a pedal. Just even where you just talked about in the loop, it's like, oh man, I should try that now.
Yeah,
it's like I haven't done any of this stuff.
It's got me thinking too. It's like, well, we'll check that out.
Could we do that? Yeah, maybe we should. Another thing I was trying to do the other day is running the boost into the boost on the Tilt Overdrive. So it was like using one boost just to kind of get like that low end shelf thing, and then the other one just pushing super hard, and it actually sounded really sweet.
Yeah, so the frequencies aren't arguing with each other.
Right.
It's two separate.
Just being used for different things, and it's like, man, if I had a couple of these on my board, I could just use them all for different things, and they would still work together really well, right?
Yep.
So
yeah,
I think that was maybe, you know.
Yeah, because I would have never thought to do that.
No, and I think I at first did it by accident. Like I was just testing out the pedal. I was like, man, that sounds cool. What is that? It's like the boost, both of them are just on. It's like, oh, sweet.
Yeah.
And yeah, I saw a couple people ask as well. These are shipping to dealers. Like they've already started shipping to dealers. The official launch date is tomorrow. So anyone who's looking to pick one up through any of our Europe dealers, I saw someone ask in Europe, they're going to have them. We shipped some out to Sweetwater. We're shipping them out to our other US dealers as well. We will have them directly on our site, depending on what you want to do, but they are fully available at midnight tonight. Finally.
Yep.
Yeah, after all that.
It took a minute.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we can both go over how we would do this, but a bunch of people have asked, how would you use it to boost a high gain amp or to kind of argue, like to fight the low end boom? I'll give it a shot.
You want to switch guitars?
Sure. Do you want to try this out?
Yeah.
Sean's going to play. a not wood guitar. Let's go.
A guitar that is not made of wood.
Yeah, I will say, man, I love that. Like, it's still, like, you know, I know it's some regard, like, you might disagree, but, like, it still does feel Telly-ish to me, although it is, like, a space, like, it's not even anything close to what a classic Telly would be, but it does still do it, especially with those pickups, like. You make it sound a lot better than I do.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, man, that's so good. So I don't know. I guess it depends on like when I'm using it for a high gain amp, it's less about adding more level and more about just getting the low end frequencies where I want. Like I can, you know, with an amp like the Generator 120, where there is a ton of gain in the preamp, I don't necessarily need to give it a lot more. I know in the past I've talked about how much I enjoy boosting the amps, and I do, but I think with the Tilt EQ specifically, if you're going to talk about how that is really useful, I think the primary use that I think every high gain player should use it for, especially if you're tuning lower, like with 7 strings and stuff like that, when you're getting these kind of like sub bass frequencies and stuff, like it just totally cleans it up, and it's one of those things that immediately you notice when it's not there. So I'm gonna hit the amp gate here too, just to be totally safe. So I'm running on the red channel, which I've become a lot more a fan of recently, I think. Sorry?
You got 2 gates on.
Oh, 2 gates.
We're doubly gating.
Double gating. But I've got just on its own, which is like, again, it's a lot of gain. It's not like I need any more. It did not sound that drastic to me until I turned it off. And now it's like right there, but yeah. Red without the tilt boost. Boost on. And like even as a solo boost.
Yeah, and then you could add the drive on top of that. If you just want more saturation, you hit the drive switch.
And then maybe you can move that down a little bit on my amp. Yep. Dude, yeah.
So now it's more saturated.
And then it's, again, as soon as I turn it off, like pushing the same way. And again, like, you know, these are very low output pickups too. It's not like I'm using like a down-tuned guitar with Fishman's or anything like that. And it's just adding so much, but that's a very good thing. Sounds like Shawn, and that's a very good thing. Was like, you know, saying before, I was a big fan of darker lead tones, but even for the lead stuff, so much more of the attack, and it's so much more pronounced. And I think that was being perceived as like before. I was like, well, I want more of the funk for the leads because it's thinner, and I like that is what it is. Even though it's like it's shelving the low end, but it's still doing it.
Yep.
The attack is just there.
Yes, sounds more stringy.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, yep.
Had a nice top into the breakup. Definitely tightened things up nicely. Yeah, for sure. I guess you really like the word like. Yes, I do. I don't mean to say it, sorry. How would, here, we'll switch again. How would you, here, you can go into the 120 actually. I'm curious to see what you do with that. Switch again after it. Yep. Red, oh, we got cable? We got cable.
Yeah.
Red, purple, what do you want?
That's fine. Kill the gate, maybe?
Yeah, for sure. Kill the gate there.
Yeah, we're running a ton of gain, but if I can turn this way.
Yeah. Oh,
Nope.
it might be. Oh,
That's,
geez.
I'm sitting too close to the amp.
Yeah, it's
with
okay. Well, you know what? It's okay.
Yeah.
I can do that if you want. Why don't I turn the gate just down a bit?
Yeah.
We also have all the lights right here, too.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. I would actually have you put the switch down, the tight switch, and then roll the, for at least my style, roll the Tilt EQ closer to like noon. Yeah.
And boost.
Boost same, yeah.
Yeah, drive good.
Yep. Yeah. So for me, yeah, it's about where I would like it. So if you turn it off,
Oh, wait, let me just kick it off the board.
I didn't mean kick it off the board.
Turn it off.
Wow.
You're out.
So for me, that's what I would do.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah, without it, with it.
Nice. I'll switch this. We can switch back here. Give you that. Oh, wait, no, we're
I
switching
think we're
cables.
good, yeah.
We're switching cables. That's all we're doing.
Yeah.
There you go. Good. Sweet. Thank you.
So yeah, you know, channel gain wise, like I tend to gravitate definitely towards channel 4. On the Mark III, on the Mark IIs, I was a channel 3 guy, but on the Mark III,
Channel 4.
channel 4.
It's
yeah,
funny
just
because that's
feels
what
great.
happened to me too.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
something about the way it feels, and then I gravitate to 3 for tighter rhythm stuff. But
Yeah.
the way that it's not compression, but there's a thing that just feels really great for solos on channel 4 now. And then
it's the sagginess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I can dial it in even further with you know, something like a boost pedal.
I think honestly it was the Tilt EQ that made me appreciate the red channel more, because I think I didn't avoid it. I used it for leads and everything, but for rhythms I was almost always strictly a purple channel guy just because it had that much tighter like upper mid range. And then as soon as I used the Tilt EQ into the red channel, it was like, okay, like you know, like you kind of got like the sagginess of it, but it's clearer.
Yeah.
And maybe that is what contributed to that actually happening. But
Yeah, maybe.
Dude, MacGyver says, turn it off forever. Just kick it off the board. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much all we had on the go for talking points. Now we can just hang out, just jam. But yeah, so for anyone who might just be tuning in, today we launched the Tilt Boost, and that's what we've been talking about for the last while. And it's, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it, to be honest. It's been great. Like, it's very simple, but there's so much range that it has.
Yeah.
For so many different applications. Like, yeah, I'm really stoked. And we do, again, I'm not going to say too many things, but if you're at NAMM and you want to come by, there might be a couple other treats at our booth that I'm not going to talk about right now.
Yep.
But they are there physically, so I can't stop you from seeing them if you come by.
And hearing them.
Yeah, and hearing them.
Yeah.
That's what's, yeah, because tone is with your ears,
Not
not
your
your
eyes.
Good. What did we learn today, family?
Children.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, if you guys got anything you want to hear, let us know. I mean, we're just hanging out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm learning a lot. I always feel like I learn a lot when we get to hang out because you and Dan both just have such a good knowledge of like the mechanics behind all this stuff. Like for me, it's kind of like I just tinker with it until I figure out what it's doing and I like it. But yeah, just I think the amount of depth that went into both the Tilt Overdrive and this really have kind of pushed what we've been able to do. So thanks, man.
Oh man,
It's awesome.
It's been great. I mean, really, it's, you know, Dan knows what he's doing.
Dan
so
absolutely
for
knows what
me,
he's doing.
yeah. So for me, it's like, hey man, can you make that thing not do that?
Yeah.
And then
It's always what it is. Dan brings something in and he's like, yeah, let me know what you think. He's like, be honest. I'm like, it's awesome, but I don't like this. He's like, okay. And he comes back tomorrow. He's like, yeah, try it now.
Yeah.
It's always just like, oh yeah, that's it. Great.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, that's almost always the process. And I know like with the Tilt Overdrive, just where it was a signature product, like you guys went back and forth a few times, but I feel like it's, you know, you can pretty much tell him what you want and he'll get it like pretty much right there
Yeah.
right away. So
Yep.
it's awesome. Sounds good on a clean channel. Sounds good boosting high gain channel. Hard to say no. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's going to be an always on for me. Like, and I guess like that's the benefit of the smaller form factor. I think the only limitation for some people with something like that might be, or like with the full size drives, if they just want the boost, it's just bigger.
Yeah.
Like this is just a lot more accessible, and now it's something that takes up less real estate on my board that I can just leave there and forget that it's on because it just sounds better.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, and you know, it definitely won't replace like a Tilt Overdrive. That wasn't the idea. But at the same time, I wanted it to be more than just the boost side of that Tilt Overdrive. You know, so if somebody's just getting, you know, the Tilt boost, they're going to get a lot of tone and just feel and dynamics out of that one pedal. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, you know, it's not, it just hasn't been a struggle. It's like, went to like, you know, just sweetening this thing up to actually getting a solo tone out of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you can pretty much, you know, dial the pedal to do, you know, whatever you like.
Yeah, exactly. Someone just asked an interesting question. Do we test all of our amps and pedals with variations of passive and active pickups? I would imagine that when they're being voiced, Dan gave me the thumbs up. There you go. We're good. I was going to say, I definitely imagine in the design process, yeah. In the shop, we use a Japanese RG550 to test everything, which is, I'd say, a good middle ground in terms of what we do. But yeah, Dan says yes. What do you like for pickups, Dan?
I'm more of a passive guy, but
Yeah.
I mean, in order to get, you know, plenty of variation like that, I have to use them all. I mean, I like some EMGs and stuff like that too. But
If anyone couldn't hear, Dan said he's generally a passive fan, but he does like EMGs. And obviously when we're testing these things and building them, we have to try what everyone's going to be using for sure, because some people like to use EMGs on the bridge pickup for a clean tone.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and
so
then,
we have chat.
but then, you know, you've got cats that are going to use super, super high output passive pickups.
Right.
And then there's guys like me
Like
who
the
wanna,
Invader.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then but there's guys like me who want to stay in like that 8K range and down, or if it's above 8K, then you know, it's gonna, you know, like I have a pickup in my Tyler that I thought was 8K for sure, but it's closer to like 11K.
Right.
But it sounds like an 8K pickup.
Right.
So it's, but yeah, there's guys that just want, you know, they use super, super hot pickups, so you want to definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah,
when you're voicing
I've
the
realized
product,
I'm more of a fan of lower output pickups because, as we were talking about, like adding different variables to boost your gain, I think is better than having a gain source that you can't pull back. Like, it's all about having the flexibility.
Yep.
And yeah, I think that with this as well, like even on that one setting, like I can, it just does what I want for all those different sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna flip back onto the clean channel here. Jam around a little bit. Oh, am I? Do I have sound? Oh, it's standby.
Stand by.
Play over if you want. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do I want to do? the same thing. That's awesome. Oh man. Yeah, let us know if you guys want to hear anything for sure. What, out of curiosity, what is everyone currently using for a boost on their board? And what about it made you want to get it? What feature? I was like, obviously it's very different than this, but I feel like I was using was it the Spark boost? The TC, they had like a 4-knob one that had like a nice clean boost on it, which I think was good. But yeah, curious what you guys are using before this, or like what boost pedal made you want to get one, and what you use it for too. Like, do you use it just straight for a volume boost, or do you like using more of a gain boost? What are you using, and what do you like, and what do you not like about it? That's a good question, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we got here? Kyle shared the link here. Sorry. Happy trails. Oh, see you, Robert. Heading out. Dude McIbro. See you later, dude. I can say that. Like, just say dude, and it's your name, apparently. So that's great. But, yeah. Am I frozen here? Oh, no, there we go. I'm just not used to the laptop. But, yeah, let us know what you guys are using. I think, yeah, that was it for me. Did you use, like, just, like, a straight boost, like clean boost before, or were you just mostly using different drives?
Yeah, I was using super low. Like, I remember there was a time I was using the Rocket Pedals Blue Note, which is a super low gain, but I was using it more as a boost. That was kind of always on. But there was always things, once again, where it's like I could get it, but then I was wanting to fix that one thing and I couldn't without changing the topography of how it sounded.
Because you push something more and then something else does something you don't want.
Exactly, yeah.
That's it.
I can remember using like a Petty John chime. I still have the Mark II. But I ran into the same issues where I couldn't quite, there were just things I couldn't sort out. God, I'm trying to think, back in the day I had the Mesa Boogie Color Sound.
Okay.
I had quite a few different like always on style pedals over the years. But there, like I said, there was always that one thing where it's like, I just wish it, I just want this little thing fixed, and I can't fix it. Yeah,
that extra 5%, which the drive switch does.
This is what exactly it does. Yeah.
Did you ever try? I don't know if it was a boost or not, but the Harlow, the Bogner.
I never tried that, but
Aaron used to run one on his board all the time, and I don't know exactly what it did, but it was a little bit closer to what the Tilt boost does than like a compressor or a drive. Like it just had this tightness to it. It's not quite the same as the Tilt because I don't think there was much flexibility in that specific regard. Yeah. But it did have this kind of tightness to it. There was just like a little bit of a lift to everything that I thought was cool. Bogner, Harlow. Oh, we got a whole bunch of comments there. Let's see what everybody's using here. Oh, can I scroll? There we go. 6 drive distortion on my board for gain stacking. Nice. That's a whole bunch. That's good. Boost is an overall tone sculpting tool for me. Nice, Westy. Nice. Was that actually you? Is that actually you?
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. I was like, is there actually a guy in here named Westy that isn't you? That's very coincidental. Tumnus Deluxe at the front of my drives and the Spark Mini at the end of my drives. Cool. So using the Spark just as like an actual volume boost.
Yeah, because the Tumnus is, I guess that's more of a Klon circuit. So yeah, you'd have it like backed off.
Yeah, I had a Tumnus Mini for a bit, which I like quite a bit. But yeah, that's cool. And that, like, I feel like if you ran the Spark at the front of that, you would get a drastically different result from the rest of your pedals. So that's like a good application of like maybe when it would be good to run something like that at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Spark, I think that was why I liked it, because it was before I had an amp with like multiple gain channels that had a switchable boost. So it was just a good way just to be like, I like this sound, but I just want more of it unaltered.
Yeah.
Join the, wow, how did I forget that? The Facebook community. I forgot to shout it out. Wow.
Well.
Shame on me. Robbie Timms reminded me about the Facebook group. We have a Revv community Facebook group, which we tease stuff like this at before it comes out, and we're still teasing some other things that might be at the NAMM booth. But yeah, it's just called Revv Application Community on Facebook. Don't have to be a Revv owner by any means. It's just, I think we're all there just because we have a common interest in gear and like to hang out and talk about it and share what we're working on. And it's a place to do that. So definitely go join, look it up on Facebook, Revv Application Community. And yeah, absolutely. Boost set on the Tilt Overdrive. Got it because of the hair. I was like, what does he mean? Oh. It's always on for me, and just a bit of a nudge in the Tilt EQ when needed. Nice. Well, here's one I haven't heard of. Lichtlarm Audio ASI Hater Clean Boost. Not sure what that is. It sounds very interesting. Like Shawn, it's an always-on boost pedal for me with my generator, rectifier, and Tone King always have it in the chain. The EQ knob makes it simple to tweak between amps. That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of the idea. Every amp's going to have a different range, and if all it is a matter of is just doing that might be all it takes.
Yep.
I've been his new Tubescreamer and Boss SD1. Nice. It's cool to see everybody using a ton of different stuff here. Muzzle, Smashing Pumpkins tribute. You probably soon if you join. Yeah, I mean, people are obviously talking about their Revv stuff in the group. But I mean, that group doesn't exist for us to try to promote and sell things. I think that group exists just for like-minded people to hang out and chat and just have, if people have any questions about their stuff, like there are tons of, like, Robbie who shared the group is always active in there. Andy, our buddy's always active in there. Like there's a lot of people that we're just friends with that are able to assist with those types of things, and everybody's very welcoming. Like, definitely a good time.
Yeah, it's awesome.
What do we got here? I have too many boosts at this point. It's not what I like, but none of them are perfect except for this one. I said that, not him. At the moment, my favorites are the Aris Effects Type Pre. I like the Savage Drive a lot. The Exotic RC Booster. We tried that on the stream, and I actually liked it quite a bit. That's a 4-knob thing,
Yeah,
right?
that's another one that I used back in the day.
Yeah,
It's good.
Yeah, the Exotic does make some good stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wild Custom Guitars, 10 dB boost. Shawn, did you see Landau when he was in Nashville?
I didn't get to see that show, but I definitely watched it on the YouTube thingy. There's Antares, I think is the name of the channel, but man, they just capture all kinds of live performances so well. It sounded amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Landau was
That'd be-
killing it.
That'd be a great concert to see, man.
Yeah.
What would be, I'd like to see him someday.
Yeah, he's haunting.
I'm just trying to think of what would be like a bucket list show for me like that, that I haven't been able to see. Because I feel like we've both been fairly lucky to be able to see a lot of the artists that we want to just through doing this, but there are definitely a few. And he would be a really cool one for sure.
Yeah, well, I haven't been able to see Mike play in years. I mean, I saw him a lot at like the Baked Potato when I was just a crazy kid with a dream growing up in California.
I was going to say, I feel like I have a friend who plays there often.
Yeah, the Baked Potato is like a nostalgic. It's
a good spot.
That's where all the cats end up.
Good old LA scene. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, sick. Anyone have any other questions, let us know as well. Yeah, it's funny, like this whole thing has just, definitely I know I've said this a couple times, but I think the concept behind the Tilt has just made me rethink a lot of things in terms of how I was doing it, and it's really cool to see, how you actually use it for all these things. What is like, I guess we kind of, like with the boost, if I'm cranking the boost, it's literally just going to be smashing the front of the amp.
Yep.
Right? It's not like I'm actually going to be getting much more real gain other than what the amp is producing from.
It's just all push into, especially a tube preamp. Yeah, you're just.
How hard can we push it?
Yeah, you're
Let's
just
see.
clipping that tube. Yeah, yeah.
How hard can we push it? Let's see.
Like the D20.
Yeah, let's see what she can take. 20 dB of boost, boys. let's see where it starts to get hairy. Wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, what I can hear is there's a lot. Now I'm hearing, like, even though the delay that's on is in the effects loop, I can tell that, it's hitting it pretty hard.
Repeats, eh?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It feels killer, and that's without the drive switch.
Like, that's verging on a little more fuzzy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I can't do the two-hand stuff, says Shawn.
But yeah, I mean, that's all the way up with this amp, and I every amp's going to respond differently, but yeah, you can clobber it, I can roll the tilt because now we are getting some low end. I can roll the tilt to the left. That's tighter.
It's like, too boomy, great, boom.
Yeah.
Like, done.
Yeah, and it's like the way this is laid out too. I can just do it with my foot. It's like I've got enough room to just kind of move it with my foot. Like that's maybe too much. I'd go the other way. Like. Right there.
Where it's like grainy or like fuzzy, but it's like in a good way. Like it has that just like cut,
Yeah, it's that, it's definitely the vintage style, almost sounds like you're murdering an AC30 now. from back to.
Yeah, man. That's so fun, dude. Yeah. And it's like, even when it is getting fuzzy like that, it still is like cutting, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean we're just massacring the front end of the amp.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry, friend. You have a whole weekend ahead of you in the sound booth. Dan's like, stop!
Quit it!
Dan, no. Dan made it for this.
Yeah, Dan's like, give it.
Dan's like, do more. Punish it. Yeah. Yeah, we got the, does this have the red bass tubes? Yeah, we got the red bass tubes back. It can take it.
Yeah,
I guess it'd be smashing the preamp, but.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yep.
Sweet. Nice, man. I want to try that. Let's see what I can do with the 120. So this is like a real clean channel.
Yeah, so start with the drive off and just see what it'll do. Got a humbucker.
Let's do it. I feel like that thing would glow in the dark if I wanted it to.
It might.
I know the lumen lights do. I like those. It's funny that like a totally clean channel, like it's a little bit different because this isn't gonna get smashed quite as hard as this is.
Yeah, this is ridiculously clean, but
Yeah.
it's still hanging in there.
It is. Sounds like it is breaking up.
Yep. Yep. Without the drive switch.
Like that hairiness, as you're saying. So as you said, it sounds like a box that's getting beat up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and you still have the drive switch.
Yeah, exactly.
You still have,
Yeah. Fuck, man. Oh, it's fun. More of a split sound. Like a full 20 dB of boost hitting the front of this thing.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Let's do it on the heavier channel. Why not? Let's see what it does.
So,
That rips though, like I would use that. That's crazy.
yeah. So you can, if you want to do that,
You
do
can.
that.
Yeah, you can completely.
And like I said, other amps may not like that. You like I said, you dial with your ears.
Should be called the Tilt Massacre with that setting. Just like, let's just destroy these 12AX7s. Oh man, that's awesome. But then, yeah,
Yeah, you can still back it off.
the one thing I don't like about this guitar
Is this
is
really
that.
hard? Yeah.
You knew before I went to do it.
Oh yeah, I was watching it.
Ah. Love it.
Yep.
Absolutely love it. That's awesome. Hey, Cliff, how's it going, dude? Yeah, if there's anything you guys want to hear, any song requests, any questions about the pedal,
Yeah, I don't know any songs, so.
Sean doesn't know how to play any music ever.
I don't know any songs.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this, man. I'm really happy that this is finally out. This is one that I've been stoked about just because I'm going to use it all the time. Like, yeah, it's just been so much fun watching all this come together.
Yeah.
For sure.
Took a minute.
Yeah, took a minute, but we're here.
Yep.
for sure. Cliff, what do you want to hear, man? How you doing tonight? Cliff's always in here with us. Freebird, no, that doesn't count. We're not doing that. I got free tickets to a Skinner concert once through a friend, and I was going into it, it's like, oh, I guess if I'm going for free, I'll go. And sure enough, man, like Freebird was just awesome. Like it was, everyone was just going. Like it was just the best time. Can you solo from? Trying to learn the Back in Black solo. I don't know. I mean, this could honestly, you could probably get like pretty much that tone just running the tilt boost into the D20. I would imagine. Here, I'll give you this.
Yeah, you can probably get pretty close.
Yeah, I'll give you this back. The classic AC/DC sounds.
I never learned that solo. I'm so lazy.
See, that's, you know, we were talking about notes per dollar ratio. That's a good gig.
That would be a good gig for that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let me see.
What's going on here?
Shut all this stuff off.
Wish I could be there this year. Oh, too bad, man. We'll have to see you next time. Basil says, can I just say I have great tone? Dude, that's great. Confidence is key. Zane, can you show the difference between the drive switch on and off? Sure.
Yep.
Yep.
So without it, with it. Pretty close. And then, yeah, if I turn the drive switch on.
As we were saying, like it is definitely adding more drive, but it's, I don't know, it's not like overly dirty. It's not like adding a lot more dirt to it. It's just like a good amount of saturation just to bring everything up a bit more. I think it's like in the classic sense of drive.
Yeah, it's just adding some clipping. You know? I mean, it's voiced. It's not just clipping, but yeah, it's. Dan did a good job. Let's put it that way.
Cliff, we haven't yet. I know that sounds like it's been a long time. We've just been experiencing some paint delays. Once I'm back home, I will look into it and see what we can find out for you. Just want to get some white corners for his 120. See what we can find. But yeah, Cliff's got the all whited out rig. Sick. Cool, man.
How's it go?
That's it.
I tried.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. No, I mean the Back in Black tone was on point enough. On my 120, when I switch my effects loop on, sound gets really line section weird. Any ideas why? Well, it depends on what you're running in your effects loop.
Yeah.
If you have, dude, if you want, it's Terry. If you want to shoot me a message, Terry, we can look into it. I would assume there's something in the loop. I mean, if you want to eliminate all the variables in your loop, just plug a cable from the send into the return and see what happens. And if it's normal, then you'll know that it's something within the pedal signal chain that's going into the back end. And if it's still doing it, then let me know. We can figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Big Sky in a timeline. Send me a message. I think I might know what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple things actually.
Yeah, love those things. Good idea. Yeah, that just eliminates everything. Like generally when we're troubleshooting stuff, it's like you just go one variable at a time, and then you know that it's either like that pedal or that chord. But that at least will eliminate everything in between the loop. And if it is the same thing, try another chord, because maybe it's that specific chord that you're testing it out with. But do you have a fuzz on the board to see the tilt with that? We don't. I mean, I feel like as we were doing before, like if you're really, really, really smashing the front end of your amp with the boost, you might be able to get the preamp tubes to produce a bit of fuzz, something like that. But
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know that. At least in my opinion, I would always run a fuzz before everything. I don't know that I would run a boost into a fuzz. I'd be more apt to run a fuzz into an overdrive. It'd be interesting to see how that sounds. I've actually never tried it. I've never thought to try it.
I'm gonna try this thing out. Someone said they wanted to hear some low tune stuff, and I think you said that Brett had this thing tuned real
yeah.
low.
Do you want to tune it? Because it's probably a little bit.
It's probably. I will take your word for it.
Yeah, I would.
I'll keep it in C though, or whatever he had it in. Oh no, it's in E.
Oh no. So someone just dropped just the low string then, or is it?
Derek put it back. But you know
He
what?
did put it back. Okay.
You know what? Let's put it to C.
Yeah.
Is that C? Yeah.
Yeah, Brett was playing that thing. It sounded insane. That was at where were we, Dan? That was at Eclipse Music. Brett showed up and
Yeah.
playing that
Yeah.
thing through. Yeah,
Yeah, how did the
Kinda
roadshow
insane.
go? I
was
saw
good.
I saw lots of clips, but Eclipse was the place that had the beer store built into the
Yes.
the store, right? Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I had zero argument with that shop whatsoever. But no, it was good. It was just good to hang out with people. That was the whole point. It's basically what we're doing right now, but you know, just hanging out with everybody and getting them to plug into stuff, because that's my big thing is I want people to play the stuff and
Totally.
get their feedback, you know.
Well, it's always different being able to like put it through the paces like
Yes.
yourself, you know, and that's obviously the difficulty with looking at gear online. But you know, we try to obviously, you know, through doing the streams and stuff, we try to make it accessible enough for people who might not be able to make it to these things. But it's always nice, you know, being able to do it yourself.
Yep.
Try it. And it's also nice being able to connect with like humans face to face and not just on the internet again. You know, that's still a thing I think we're readjusting to. But
Yeah.
nope, I tuned it to two different things because I couldn't see.
Oh, sorry, was I blogging?
No, my eyes are apparently I'm getting old. Oh, we're going to B. Okay, we're going to drop.
Doing B?
We're going to drop
Wow.
B with 10 to 46s. Let's see what happens here.
Light touch, my friend.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick way too hard in like 2 seconds.
It was what Brett had it tuned to, is it?
Huh?
It was what Brett had it tuned to was B, wasn't it?
I think it was C.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going lower.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it. I should have grabbed one of the 7 strings from the RSTD booth. Thanks, man.
Yep.
Let's try it out. Got this thing in B standard now. All right, so for this, I'm gonna go into the red channel. We're gonna do that. Do that. Loose,
Yeah,
I
I was
can't
gonna say,
pick how I want to. So without, it's like hilariously different with the pedal on. This is so good. I will say, man, I'm digging it. Like, it's hard to go from that to, like, even picking lightly. Probably tired of my noises now.
No, I love it. I'm still trying to figure out how to do it.
Don't be musical. So you'll have a.
Is that how you do it?
That's basically it.
Don't make music. No, that's killer. So yeah, covered covered a bunch of ground. That's a good Les Paul, man. We just dropped it down to B, and it's still like
And it's not
intonating
horrible. It's staying in tune, and it has the vintage tuners too. This is the 91.
Yep, this Derek's 91. Yep.
Dorian, why did you tell everyone about these? It is, yeah, man. It is a real good one.
Yeah, when Brett was playing it, it sounded insane. But he had the same comment. He was like, "Yeah, we just totally detuned this thing without touching it, and it intonated perfectly." And
Yeah.
stayed in tune. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And I'm like, I've said this to people because I was on the stream, like, oh, so you're a Les Paul guy now. I'm like, no, but like, I really like all the 91s that I've played because they just feel and sound good.
Yeah, there's
just a
something
good
about it.
guitar, man. You can't really argue with that. Like, yeah, 100%. Like that tone. Nice, Terry. Cool to meet Dan and Derek at Sweetwater. Thanks, Dan, for signing my G20 along with Derek and Sam. You met Steve? Nice. Yeah, me and Derek scribbled all over the bottom of his amp. That was good. Nice. Yeah, this is C standard. Anti-pickguard gang. Yeah, dude. Oh, it is Westy commenting. Never mind. You're still good. No, you're on board still. Luke's not here to defend himself.
I'm here to defend Luke, though. Pickguards, man.
Yeah. Yeah. They're there for a reason. I don't know. I always try to see the side of either debate. I absolutely understand why they're there. I think I just like the look of it more without, but I'm not going to not play a guitar because it has it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Derek is very extreme about his views on this.
He's pragmatic.
All or nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll pay money to watch Sam teach Shawn to go GR harmonic pick scrapes. Shawn can do it. Literally pick a really gross harmonic and go, and that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's literally it. I don't think there's anything I could teach Shawn. But yeah, just when there's like any space, just
Yeah, just take it, yeah.
or just the or the any of those any of those after image noises that we used to just do. It's like, don't know what to do for this riff, just add a or and we're good to go. That's pretty
That's
much
awesome.
it. Yeah. Teach Luke how to scrape more so he can use it on Sundays at church from Stan.
Yeah.
Derek would love it. I can see Derek sitting there and just laughing if Luke did that. Shawn, how about some Desert Drift? I don't know what that is.
Oh, which song? My daughter named all those songs from...
Oh, is it one of your
it's
songs?
from the Demolition record.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I don't know which one Desert Drift.
I know
which
it.
pedal demo
I
is
know
it?
it by demo V1 version 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Don't know the actual song name, but like,
not
new
that
idea 1 V2
Yeah.
final.
I don't think I don't think that's it. Yeah. Because when I did that, it's the thing. It's like, well, I can't just title it the demo pedal demos. So my daughter named them all, and then I had
That's
them
awesome.
memorized there for a second, and now I don't. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I don't remember which one that is.
Cool.
Is it? Oh, is it? Is it that one? How's it go? Shoot, now I can't even remember my own songs. I'll forget it. Yeah.
Go listen to it if you want to hear it.
How did I do that?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That almost reminded me of like a song by Pliny that I've heard before.
Oh, I can't remember what it was. It'll hit me at 3 in the morning. I'll be able to play it. I don't think that's Desert Drift. I want to say Desert Drift was the. And I think that was when I demoed a Mike McGuire guitar.
Nice.
I could be wrong, but that's a shuffle though. I don't know.
He says that's it.
Oh, is that it?
Grant
Oh,
says
okay.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. That's sick, dude. Yeah. Cool, guys. Well, we're getting a little long there, so if there's anything else you guys want to hear or any questions you have about the new Tilt Boost, let us know. The official launch is tomorrow, so all the content's going to be coming. Shawn's video is going to be up tomorrow. I believe they're up on our website now, but the official launch date's tomorrow. All the dealers are going to be getting them right away. And yeah, we are super excited about it. It's been a lot of fun to put together.
Yeah.
This along with a couple new things that we got coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, anything you guys want to hear, any questions you have, let us know. We'd be happy to answer those. Was that Dorian? Oh, he's pointing at the screen. Ah, there it is. I'm delayed because I'm literally just watching it. Any reason why they went for a drive switch instead of a knob?
Yeah, well, it's another potentiometer, and honestly, I didn't want that much variable. I wanted it to just be like the quick more.
Yeah.
And
Efficiency.
But then now you're getting into voicing anomalies again. So I wanted it to just be more without having to change the tilt EQ, because if there's a variable where you could actually add more overdrive, then it's kind of defeating what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
So I do understand how that would make sense, but for me it kind of doesn't, because that would have been too much. You know?
I kind of agree with it in that setting, and the amount that it, like as we said, it's not like it's really adding. You're not really using it to add a ton of like distortion or gain or anything. It just kind of gives you a little bit more of a saturation push that brings out a lot more of that.
Yeah, I just want it to be a more switch. The second I turn that into a potentiometer, then I have to start looking at everything else all over again.
Exactly. Yeah. And then that creates more of those other variables because that's going to affect other things.
Absolutely.
And whatever. And the way that is very, very intuitive. So
yep.
Terry says I'm buying one of these ASAP. Awesome, dude.
Terry.
I'd love to hear what you do with it, man. I'm still using your old Jackson Evertune for a lot of the. I used that guitar. Terry, I actually did use that guitar for the demo for this that I'm going to put out when we get home. But yeah, awesome. Also, I feel like my Big Sky had the cab sim switch on. That was what I was going to suggest, because that was I ran into that with a customer before. I didn't want to say on here. It's like I think it's the Big Sky, but I've run into that 2 times with the Big Sky now, and that's what it is. So there you go.
Oh,
awesome, Terry.
I have to do this because I can do it. I can do it. That's what it was.
That's cool progression.
Yeah, that's actually the I want to say that's the Sir Bella demo, maybe. Anyways, yeah, it's all coming back.
I love that. That's a really cool progression. That's awesome.
It's just shapes.
Alex says he needs to pick one up at NAMM. Good, you should pick up your amp too, dude, or else we're gonna keep using it because it's sick.
Yeah.
Robbie says, I know you said the boost is 20 dB. What is the boost amount on the Tilt Overdrive boost side? 12 dB?
Yep.
So you get 8 more dB of boost with the actual Tilt boost than with the Tilt Overdrive boost side.
It goes 8 dBs more.
More dBs. Yeah, and more drives.
With drives.
It drives more. It dBs more. It does all more. Awesome. Cool. Damn. Cool, guys. Yeah, last chance. Let us know if there's anything you want to hear, anything you want to make one of us play. Grant says 11. Yes, it's 11. It goes to 11. It's 20 dB more. That's the 11
to
setting.
11, yeah.
Yes.
It takes 20 dB to get to 11.
Steve says he just got one at a noise gate. Nice, dude. I'll let the guys know to ship that out right away. Could you try boosting loads of low end into a crunch sound to see how fuzzy it gets?
Yeah.
Sure.
Probably into a crunchy. I mean, I could probably crunch this out. I could try it with this.
Yeah, go for it. If not, we'll plug this in.
Yeah, because I can maybe hit this harder.
That's there, yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
it'll do that.
That was pretty close to that actual tone, actually. Yeah, Dorian's tone.
Yeah, yeah. Seems like, you know.
Really it, dude.
Yeah, it'll do it.
It has that, yeah, it's like fuzzy, but it's still smooth, you know? Yeah, that buttery.
Yeah, so that's the boost dimed and the tilt EQ at almost like 3 o'clock, so pretty dark, no tight switch, and the drive on.
Yeah, it's awesome. Zane says that sounds great. I agree with you, Zane. That's awesome. Sick.
And we just abused the front end of the amp again.
It's
It's
okay.
hanging in there, though.
Dan said to put it to work. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep crushing it.
Yep.
It's got a whole weekend to go. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Alrighty. Yeah, last chance. Anything you guys want to hear, let us know. We're going to do that. Otherwise, if you're at NAMM, we're at booth 56. Is it 41 or 49, Dan? 41. 41? It is.
Sweet.
Thanks, Chad. I don't know how many times I've had to ask what it is. I should know by now. 56, 41. If you're at NAMM, come hang out. We're going to have the tilt boost there. We're going to have a couple other things there that I won't say verbally, but you can see visually when you're there. And hear audibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the senses. Yeah, I think. Yeah. I don't know. And yeah, Sean's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Derek's going to be there. Dan's going to be there. Whole bunch of the team's going to be there until Saturday. And we'd love to see you if you're around. If not, you will find out what the other new things are soon. But for now, go check out the Tilt Boost. There's going to be a lot going up on it tomorrow online, different demos. It's going to be hitting dealers right away. And we're really stoked to finally be rolling it out to you guys. So awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. thanks, Shawn, for doing this with me. It's always
absolutely.
it's always such a pleasure, dude. I'm glad we got to do this.
Yeah,
I
it's fun, man.
Get to pick your brain a little bit.
Oh man, I steal so much stuff from you. I got to go home and work on it. But
I if that's true, then I'm completely honored. Yeah, likewise.
no, that's true.
Oh man.
I'm gonna work on some stuff.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Come hang out, booth 5641. Check out the Tilt Boost. A whole bunch of stuff going up tomorrow. Feel free to reach out if you got any questions at all. He's going to be hitting the dealers right away, and we're super stoked. So thank you very much, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.